Alrighty, so thanks everybody for tuning into this episode. Today we have Lyric Amodia, who's the founder and executive director of the Movement Street. So, Lyric, what is the Movement Street? What is the mission of the organization?
Hello. So the Movement Street, we are a nonprofit organization that redefines community service through impact and style. And we do this on every city, on every street, and by the fusion of our communities. And we basically, in layman's terms, we basically make community service look more attractive so our community can be engaged longer for a sustainable movement.
All right, I have tons of questions because this is probably a challenge that a lot of nonprofits have been having is how do you keep those volunteers and community members engaged? So, but before we do, why you? Why is this something that you wanted to found this organization?
Yes. Wow. I was really inspired by my family and my community. I have a very diverse upbringing. I was raised pretty much everywhere. I'm a military kid, and my family raised me in Flint, Michigan. And during the 2014 water crisis, when it hit national coverage, which was in 2014, even though the effects were happening long before then, I really felt like I had a call to action being a first generation college student, and I was always organizing within my community because I feel like my family really instilled leadership in me from a very young age, and just like I had an innate sense for wanting to organize. Because we had limited water distribution drives in Flint, Michigan, me and my cousins, I was like, let's design a shirt and let's redirect the proceeds to organize water distribution drives. So, with my family's assistance, working in the churches and just having community connections, we were doing home delivery drives in Flint, Michigan. And I basically wanted to use that same model and show people that no matter what, you can always have a platform to serve, even if it's in the smallest ways, even if it's purchasing merchandise or an educational tool that can show you what's happening and bring awareness about something and bridge the gap between service and having it be sustainable. So people can always find an initiative, they can learn more about it, and it's being redirected to reinvest into Black and Brown communities.
Yeah, wow. All right. I feel like there's a lot that I want to ask about with what you mentioned. So that was like your initial inception. At what point during that journey was the Movement Street born?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I noticed there was a volunteer disparity within Black and Brown individuals ages like 14 to 35. And I always was curious about it because my family, again, us being military, we were constantly serving, whether like anywhere. And I was like, I wanted to see more of that. I didn't want to see it for just a moment or when something happened and people saw it on the news. I always saw movements happening as a quick spark. So, seeing that volunteer disparity, and I saw the lack of like economic reinvestment into Black and Brown communities when we're the biggest contributors into the spending dollars. I wanted to be able to fuse the two. So I was like, what's a way I can do it? And that was through innovation and creativity. So I wanted to put a creative and modern spin on community service work. So both of those issues can be addressed, but it can be always continuous, and it looks very attractive to people, so they don't think it's this large stigma where they have to be. You don't have to work on the hill, or you have to be the like read. You don't have to memorize the entire amendment to understand that you can make a difference in your community. Like, it really does start with you and wanting to show up, and it can come from the smallest, most creative ways. I believe everyone is a designer, and everyone can design their communities to create a long-standing movement of social action.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I feel like this is a common question I like to ask, but why do you feel like this is your responsibility to do?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
what do you
no.
think, like, through your life has formed you as a person to get you to the point where like you're taking this responsibility on yourself?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah. You
so.
mentioned family. Like family was a really big influence on the initial. So that, I mean, that could be the easy answer. But I was just wondering if that's something I ever thought about. Like
Yeah.
you're a
No.
very
Me and
unique
my.
person in doing this. So what do you think
Thank
contributed to
you.
that uniqueness? Yeah, yeah.
Um. Really, like my faith for really.
Mm.
So I grew up overseas. Like, I was born in Okinawa, Japan. I grew up in Europe, and I speak German fluently. And I had a very much an unorthodox upbringing where I was always being raised by cultures other than my giving culture. Um, and that really inspired me because I was like, wow, I've had so many life experiences and I'm so young still. And I've been able to see all these countries, live in them, and immerse myself in so many different cultures. And when I came and I went to college, I was like, I really want to share what I've learned so far and be able to build on it and use my education to really translate into like my I don't like really translate into the things that I believed in that I've cultivated.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so really my community has inspired me, my family has inspired me, and I feel like why me? Like why not me? Why couldn't it be everybody else?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
well, I feel like I was given these experiences for a reason, and I believe people are touched most through experiences. So that's why I wanted to create the Movement Street to address those challenges that I was seeing in the community and be able to show people that this is what we can do together and give them an experience to want to pour into. Really,
Yeah.
in short, I feel why me? Because why not me? My family, my faith, and I feel like everyone in this lifetime should be able to experience these beautiful things that are part of our community. And
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that. So early days of the Movement Street, what were some of the main activities that you participated in and focused on?
During the early stages of the Movement Street, we were really focusing on charitable giving, and we did a
Hmm.
lot of community give backs. The first event I really ever did after founding the Movement Street was working with Little Miss Flint in Flint, Michigan, and we did this huge giveaway where we gave away like over 500 back to school supplies, and then there were like different community resources there for them, and we loved like being a part of charitable giving when we first started, and especially the water distribution drives, like the at-home water distribution drives where we were literally organizing people to come drop off water to families in Flint. Those were probably like the most touching and like the beginning moments of the Movement Street, because it was really all
Yeah.
about that personal connection that really ignited like this is what we're supposed to do and this is what we're going to continue doing.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I remember starting to plan events like around the DC area, and it was also like regarding like charitable giving, where we were constantly doing. Where we were working with women's shelters and churches in DC and to help them get supplies. Because I founded the Movement Street during COVID as well. So this was like 2020 when it was
Yeah.
official. So like literally everyone, I felt like I was like, oh, I just wanted to give as much as I could.
Yeah. Wow. And then so after those initial in Flint and then in DC, I think fast forward to probably today, what are some of the main activities that maybe you've continued doing or added on to the programming that the Movement Street provides?
Oh my gosh, yes, I love this question. So since then, we have built educational workshops. We do a lot of health and wellness events as well. We do free community yoga classes, which I absolutely love. We have now hosted our third annual gala event, which we call the Creative Classic, and it's a creative community creative event where we showcase Black art in all of its forms, and that's
Hmm.
probably one of my favorite events that we host yearly. We just wrapped that up a week ago, and each year we have a different location where we expose people because we want Black and brown art, to be taking up space in every space imaginable. So we always find new places in the DMV to host it at. So that's something that we've added on: the Creative Classic, health and wellness events, community yoga. We've even done financial literacy workshop panels where we literally love that. Again, because we're all about showing the economic reinvestment that we can do in Black and brown communities. And we are also doing education classes as well. So in Flint, we partner with the Boys and Girls Club, and we do
Yeah.
workshops where we talk to the youth about going to colleges. And if they do not choose a collegiate route, what are some other opportunities for them as well? So we do those type of workshops in the community.
Wow. You just listed off like 15 things I feel like
Yeah.
that you guys are participating in and leading.
Yeah, the Movement Street prides itself on having monthly community service events in either of our
Right.
service locations. So even if you're in Flint, Detroit, or in the DMV, you'll be able to attend a TMS event monthly, no matter what.
Wow. Wow. So one thing that people, listeners are curious about too is the impact that you're having. How are you trying to measure that now? Obviously, you have all these events and you can track how many people are attending. But I'd love to hear kind of your ideas on how the Movement Street is trying to track the impact that you've had and are having and plan to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, no, definitely. We track the impact by looking, well, every time people come to our events, we always try to get them a part of our volunteer team, like our core volunteer team. So, looking how much of our team has expanded with our
Mm,
representatives that we have, and the amount of people that are able to continuously come to our events. And yes, if this is your first time, we note that as well. But since our founding in 2020 to now, we've been able to engage and interact over 3,000 community members, and 3,000 community members who have not attended not one of like not just one event. They've attended at least two events. So specifically, it's around 3,072 community members that we've been able to engage in the past 3 years,
yeah.
which I absolutely love. And these are in our three different service locations. And these are people who are constantly coming back. They have signed up to be a volunteer or have participated with us in numerous events as well. And so that's how we kind of track it. Is like, okay, like have you? If you're serving once, that's a big difference. You took a leap. You're here. But if you're coming back, that's the sustainable impact we want to see, and that's how we're
Yeah.
measuring our growth and where we want to go.
Wow. And I feel like all the people that are listening now that are nonprofit executive directors are really curious as to what's in the secret sauce of having that repeat, having that person come a second time. What have you felt you have done at the Movement Street to get people to come back that second time and the third time and following up? Because you mentioned as a part of the mission statement, there's
Mhm.
impact and style. Style is not a term you typically hear a lot in the
Yeah.
nonprofit space. So I'm assuming there's a little bit of style in what you're doing
Yes.
that maybe is also attributing to people coming up. But I'd love to hear what you think is in the secret sauce of the Impact Street and the Movement Street for this.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I really think when we say style, like I really think it's our spin on what community service looks like. I honestly think it's because people don't even think it's service because they're having such a great time. But that's how you spin
Yeah.
it. And they're like, wow, you're actually making a bigger impact than you think. And I think that touches a lot of people. And since we do, our events are literally always very innovative. I know every person, every executive working in a nonprofit says their events are innovative, but I feel like we really touch our demographics in really fun ways. We show them new areas in the communities that they've never even been to, but they've been living at their whole lives. And when we're
Yeah.
doing it, we're having so much fun. And we want people to, when they come, to show like really ignite and really uplift communities through these outreach initiatives, through these programming, and through these partnerships. And I feel like through that connection that they see it and it's very authentic, that's what makes them. We create a space where they want to keep coming back, where they're like, wow, like I remember I went to a Movement Street event and I want to go back. So I feel like the secret sauce is really like the creativity, the style that you put into it, how you can make people feel like they're truly at an experience that is uplifting themselves and uplifting the people around them, that they remember and they revel in that joy, and they want to continue coming back and giving back to this certain cause or that specific initiative. And literally we would make a close relationship like with our my team, my staff. We pride ourselves on treating everyone like family too. So I also think it's the personal connections that we've made, and just like trying to be as transparent as possible and communicating often with everyone around us, so that we can always just keep growing our family.
Yeah. Wow.
I hope that
Oh, it's so
answers.
exciting. Yeah, no,
Thank
that
you.
absolutely does. That's such a that's such a cool model that you guys have. Wow. So the future. What actually before you get to that, stories. I'd love to hear some examples of maybe volunteers or communities that you've impacted and direct feedback you've heard from the people that you're impacting. If you have any cool stories to share over the past few years.
Oh my gosh, yes. Wow. I feel like me personally, I wish. Oh my gosh, my team literally shares so much feedback that I literally just. I always just share so much gratitude because they're like, I heard
Yeah.
this from this person, I heard this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
like our mission is to fuse socialization, creativity, and social justice together. So whenever we have that type of impact and we get feedback from it, a lot of people are like, wow, you inspired me to literally like. I get a lot of feedback saying that I didn't even know this type of service existed, or like I've never even heard of this place, and now you have me coming here a lot. So oftentimes, like we did this U Street cleanup in DC. U Street is like this bustling hub of that people come to. It's like a really a tourism site kind of in DC, but it's a street of bustling restaurants, businesses, and all these different things. And a lot of times, with high event seasons like Howard Homecoming, sometimes the streets just need a little bit more TLC. And
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
the businesses, they let us come in and they were like, "Can you please like help us around the business?" Like we were repainting things, repotting plants, planting plants for them, and they're like, "I've been going to Howard, or I've been living in DC this whole time, and I've never been to this restaurant in U Street." And now the business owner came out and he was talking to me and he asked me if we could collaborate on this. The collaboration feedback that I get from exposing, allowing people, being a vessel and exposing people to these new places in the area is really something that, like huge feedback I get. I get feedback that people want to start their own nonprofits as well. I get feedback
Yeah.
of people asking, "Oh my gosh, like these are some of the ideas I have. Is there any way you think like the things that people think that they can't connect together, I feel like they're learning that they can connect, whether it be from literally working in like healthcare to style, like how you confuse the two, and we kind of like give solutions and connect people that collaborate in that sense. Some of the feedback that I've also received is that, wow, like I've never had someone like come and be so personal with me to help me. Like when we do our Thanks giveaway drives in Flint and Detroit, that's where we provide over 114 Thanksgiving meals and groceries for the rest of the year to Flint and
Wow.
Detroit residents. And when we do the home deliveries and they're like, "Wow, like you guys are just doing this out the kindness of your heart, like you guys just do this," and we're like, "Yes, like there's literally always room to give. If you have the capacity to give, I think everyone should, because that builds relationships." And I feel like, during a time where like COVID happens, people feel like they're away from their relationships, and we want to pour back into that.
Yeah.
So literally the feedback about personal connections, the collaboration, people inspired to start their own businesses or to pave new ways, the feedback I get from their innovation that they have, or like I thought about this in my own job or in my organization that I'm working in, and I'm thinking about incorporating the same style. And I literally love that. I'm like, wow, like, this is genius. I love it. And
Jeez.
it's
Yeah,
really
there's
dope.
so many stories already.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So what does the future have to hold? You're in many locations already, it sounds like. What do you hope the movement street looks like 3, 5, 10 years from now?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. So right now I'm currently getting my master's in business administration because I always
Yeah.
want to build more things in my tool belt so that I can run TMS full time. I want TMS to be a household name. I want it to be not only nationally in 3 to 5 years, but I want it to be international. I want to go back to where I was raised. I want to be able to travel back to the places that I was raised at and be able to support and be able to build community and foster connections in those places as well, and bring my team with me, and again expose people to the world of what it looks like to really revolutionize social impact in the most authentic, creative ways. And I want people to understand that we are all creatives in our own different ways, and you can use that to transform communities. So my goal in the next 5, 10 years is to really, again, international, national expansion. I really want to open up TMS's own community centers and have community hubs where we can always host programming for people to come and collaborate with other people. I think a lot of like times in the nonprofit world, there are a lot of initiatives, and there's really no need to reinvent the wheel when there's a lot of people that created the wheel. So I really want to be that community connector and have the movement street be able to foster those connections and be that bridge where people didn't think that there was partnerships available. And also like, get more, like I said, I want to break that barrier of volunteer disparities. I want more people who look like me, people who are in my age group, to be actively involved. Like we get so into the hustle and bustle about everything, but service can just look as much as service is also, it should be a part of your daily life, I feel like. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you can learn about yourself. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I really would love for everyone, I want to expand our community engagement. I want merchandise that we sell that spreads awareness about our initiatives in stores, community centers. I want me, my team, my volunteer team to travel and, really put on these programmings, these initiatives that we have in other countries and other states as well, and expand it to more cities and be in more streets so people can always see like, yeah, that's where movement was happening.
Wow. 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 Well, we're honored to share the amazing work that you're doing, and hope that people are listening
Thank you.
would want to get engaged with you. So, engagement. What type of engagement do you look for? Where can people get engaged, and how can they get engaged?
Yes. Yes. Of course, our website, which is www.themovementstreet.org. I don't know if I added in an extra W, but themovementstreet.org. On our website, you can see all of our events, all of our latest events to get in touch with us. And if you want to collaborate, there's a collaboration form as well with our contact information. If you have any ideas, you can also sign up to volunteer with us on our website as well. And then you can see all of our latest like fun things that we're doing via our Instagram or our TikTok, which is everywhere at the
Yeah.
Movement Street. And you can get to know more of our team and like what our culture is really like in our family. And we want to expand that some more, so people can get involved with us. What we're really looking for is anyone willing to serve that doesn't really know where to start. We hope you start with us and that you would want to continue doing it as well. So signing up to be a volunteer, partnering with us on an event, reaching out to us if you're in a different city that we're not in yet and helping us come to your city. We would love to do that as well. And we're always open to any generous contributions if you have any. Like you can come join our staff if you want to contribute in any type of way. We're literally accepting of it all because we want to be here and connect with everyone as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So, people that are listening, get engaged. We'll share all the information in the show notes, of course, in addition to all the social media, TikToks and Instagrams. We have a TikTok too. Don't know how to use it too well, but I'm sure you guys make amazing use of it. So we'll make sure to as well send people that way because it's a good medium for storytelling as well.
Mhm.
Okay, so other than that, is there anything that we missed or anything that you want to share with before we start wrapping up the interview? I think we covered a lot so far, so this is really exciting.
Mhm. Yes. I think that was pretty much everything. I feel like if I were to leave anything for someone who's watching this to take away is that together, like we really can unite communities in a common purpose, which is to create positive and long-lasting change through the power of creativity, and that's what we want to do through socialization, creativity, and social action, and making it a long-lasting movement. So I can't wait to meet everybody else after watching this, and I really hope we get a chance to connect. So and thank you so much for this opportunity, Joseph, for letting me use your platform to really share our vision and our mission. So thank you so much.
Of course. Lyric, thank you so much for your time as well. We're honored to share the amazing work that you're doing. And again, people that are listening, get engaged, reach out to Lyric for any follow up questions or curiosities that you have. If you have a skill or if you have a resource, if you have time, if you have money, of course, you could get engaged or anything whatsoever. Just reach out to Lyric and throw around some ideas. Lyric, thank you again so much for your time. We'll get this out there and drive engagement as best as we can. And we'll talk to you soon. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.